Hello, my name is Quinn Rawson, and this is the story of how I finally got my 2-year-old niece to talk to me. This story is titled, No Kitties. So there I was, off on another one of my adventures. This time, I found myself in Seattle, Washington, where I'd gone to visit my sister and her 2 kids, though the youngest, my furtive little niece, had yet to talk to me in her 2 years of life. I told myself, this will be the trip when I finally get her to utter words to my face. My sister picked me up from the airport that morning with my little niece in tow, and we had been driving around Seattle ever since. Our first stop had been General Porpoise, home to possibly the most seductive donut I've ever had. My niece loved the donuts, but she still wasn't sure about me. So we drove on to our next stop, Twice Told Tales, a helter-skelter bookstore filled from floor to ceiling with used paperbacks and lounging cats. That was where the trouble started. I was meandering my way through the willy-nilly stacks of science fiction when I almost placed a distracted foot right on top of a furry mound of gray, both because there was a ginormous gray mop of a cat on the floor and because it was caught in the clutches of my niece, whose last name is Gray. I detoured around the 2 while listening to my niece fervently stroke the kitty, saying, "I love you, kitty. Oh, who's a pretty kitty? Oh, pretty kitty. I love you." Quite hypnotically. My sister and I quickly made our selections, and we had to practically drag my niece out of the store. And the whole way to the car, she kept asking, "Are there more kitties where we're going? More kitties? More kitties?" You see, my niece was at the age where one finds it necessary to repeat one's inquiry again and again, whether or not they've received an answer or whether or not they ever will. So despite my sister's continued negative responses, from the back seat I could hear, "There are more kitties where we're going? More kitties? More kitties?" As we made our way to our next destination, Dick's Burgers, a lovely little burger joint with a walk-up window and a menu larger than my sister's car posted on the building. They delivered our greasy bliss wrapped in paper, and we tried to convince my niece to garble down some fries, but she was only interested in finding more kitties. So we packed up and headed off to our next destination. This one was a little farther away. My niece continued with her chanting, "More kitties, more kitties, more kitties." But now she had resorted to also accompanying each kitty with a kick to the back of my chair. So it was more kitties, kick, more kitties, kick. And I gotta say, I'm not one for patience. We arrived at our final destination of the day, the Troll Under the Bridge, a very imaginative cement art installation that is in fact under a bridge and quite the tourist attraction. My sister hopped out of the car to go pay for parking and asked me to grab my niece. At this point, I had it. Between the more kitties, more kitties, more kitties, and the kicking, 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 all the way from the bookstore to the burger place and now to the Troll Under the Bridge, I couldn't do it anymore. I hopped out of the car, I pulled open the back door, and I growled, "There are no kitties where we're going!" My niece's face fell. I had to swallow back some guilt at yelling at a 2-year-old. And then fearing the onslaught of tears that was sure to come and alert my sister to what I had just done, I quickly unstrapped my niece and pulled her up onto the trunk, started to put on her little strappy toddler shoes, and then I heard her say, "Hey, Quinny," my auntie nickname she uses. Shell-shocked that she's finally speaking to me, I say, "Yes." She scrunches up her little face, and then she says, "No kitties!" I deserved that, I told her, and she beamed from ear to ear. And you know, we didn't see a cat for the rest of the trip, but now each time we're reunited, we make sure to growl at each other, "No kitties," as our secret little declaration of our friendship. Thank you, and I hope you'd enjoyed listening to my telling of No Kitties, and I hope you have a wonderful night.